Hey, Misty.
Hey, Amaryllis.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. I've done nothing but sleep all weekend.
I heard you took multiple naps.
I took some. Well, I never have any time for myself. I'm always having to work or cook for my family or clean this house. Like it's all Amaryllis all the time. And yesterday I found myself, if I had something to do, it didn't have to be done like that second. Mm-hmm. So I just might have stayed in bed like literally all day. Yeah. I woke up I slept in until about 7:30, which is late for me. But I did not get out of bed. I literally, outside of having to go to the bathroom real quick, I didn't get out of the bed until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I came downstairs for a little while, and then I fell asleep again in the chair.
Well, so here's my deal. I can fall asleep at the drop of a hat if I'm taking a nap, but I don't sleep at night. Like, you can ask Rhett. I mean, me and him.
Why would I ask Rhett about how you sleep?
Well, I don't want to tell you this.
Live on the air.
He's also on Facebook at 4 a.m. sometimes.
That's true. It's true.
And sometimes when I see him at church, the next day he'll say, "Why were you on Facebook at 4 a.m.?" And I'll say, "Why were you?" So
it's true. That's true. I'm a good sleeper. I don't have any problems with sleep, but I did get myself turned around yesterday because I slept for so long.
Yeah.
And so then I had to take a nap as soon as I got home from church today.
Well, today is the day of rest, so that's fine.
It is. So we'll see how it goes trying to get to bed tonight.
Yeah.
I may need to take a melatonin or something.
Oh, well, melatonin got me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we need to talk about something.
Okay.
We need to talk about...
Am I in trouble?
No.
Oh.
It's not about you, Misty.
It's not always about
It's not
you.
always about you. I want to talk about one of our doctors.
Yes.
Her name is Shruti.
Uh-huh.
And Shruti has been emailing us and telling us that she's been sick for a little while and she had to go through some surgery and that we kind of kept her company throughout that time.
Which is like the best compliment in the world.
It's so nice.
I mean, I
don't get it, Misty.
I don't like to say I'm good medicine, but Shruti did.
It came out of her mouth.
So thank you for that.
It came out of her mouth. So we just wanted to do a good old On The Doc shout out to Shruti. We're so excited that you are on the team here, and you are awesome, and we wish you the very best.
Yes.
And we don't say this to everybody, but we'll be praying for you.
Absolutely.
Like we will. So now we said it out loud, and all these tens and tens of people heard us.
Yeah, now we got to do it.
And now we got to do it.
Yeah,
so there, Shruti, everything should be fine now.
Yeah. And Shruti is so precious. Emerald, she sent us a donation just to help keep On The Doc rolling.
I can't even believe it.
And we have done nothing to deserve it, but we are so
Except be hilarious.
Pretty much
keep her company.
Be your best friend.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if she would have even survived through all of this if it hadn't been for us,
I don't know
Misty.
if that's okay to say. But Shruti, that meant so much to us. Like, you just do not even understand. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything, but some of y'all other fans need to step it up.
Y'all, I tried to get her not to say that, but
fine.
She still said it.
I mean, I don't want to say anything. Maybe we have a PayPal. I don't know. And yes, I'm getting it ready.
What are you getting ready?
Patreon.
Sure you are.
I told you I'm doing it this week because
Sure,
we're getting our tree cut down, and I need something to occupy my mind so I don't think about it crashing through my roof and killing me. So I'm going to do it this week.
Sure.
And if I don't,
what's going to happen?
Nothing, because I don't have any consequences. But but I am going to do it.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for a good year now.
Okay.
The best part of that was you did it to the microphone.
Y'all, I have a chapstick addiction. And can I please tell you, so I got this chapstick, and it's so cute. Like,
very cute.
It's shaped like a little pineapple, like the whole thing of it. So, like those Eos, like they're shaped like eggs. This isn't Eos, but it's shaped like a pineapple.
Yeah.
And so you, like, twist it open, and it opens up. Well, so I'm putting it on the other day. And I was like, Philip, look at my new chapstick. And he was like, Misty. And I said, what? And he said, that's a sign to people that you're a swinger.
Yep.
And I was like, what? And he said, pineapples, like that's a thing.
Yep.
And I said, you've got to be kidding me. And he said, well, it's more upside down pineapples. Well, guess what you have to do to this chapstick to open it?
Turn it upside
You
down.
got to turn it upside down. So he said, please do not bring that to church. And
Yeah.
so what's the first thing I did?
Bring it to church.
I did, and I
Well,
put
that
it-
could bring some of the sinners up to the surface.
And I put it on during choir just to see if anybody
If there would be any bites.
would say anything to me.
Did anybody say?
Well, I mean,
I can think of at least one person that might have said.
I'm
something.
not going to tell.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell.
Okay. That sounds like somebody seriously did say something to you.
No, they didn't.
Which we're gonna have to make an appointment with somebody at church.
No, nobody said anything. Everybody said, I love your lip gloss. And I was like, I know.
I know. Look at it. It can be upside down or straight up.
It's either this way or this way.
Yeah, what do you like
Which one do
best?
you like best?
Exactly.
Maybe I should just go around next week and go, hold this pineapple how you think it should go.
Right. How do you think we
And
should hold this?
see what they do.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right. So all that to say, Shruti, you are the bomb. Thank you so much. We wish you all the best.
Yes.
We want you to get well and to just keep on trucking. Thank you. Thank you.
And because Shrudi's amazing, and I'm not going to say it's because she made the donation, but yeah, we're going to do Lover, Stalker, Killer today.
Oh, yes.
Which was Shrudi's request. So guess what, all y'all out there making requests? Send us a donation. Shruti knew what to do.
I did not want to do this. I did not want to do this. And let me tell you why. A couple of weeks ago, Misty came over to record an episode and we started talking about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my husband was here and the two of them started talking and I had not seen this documentary, but Rhett figured out all the ups and downs and Misty confirmed everything while I'm sitting here. It's like they spoiled the entire documentary for me. So I was so ticked off.
We are the worst.
And I said, "Oh, we're not doing that one. It is not fun for me. It is not. I don't want to
And
do
I
it."
said, no, Amarillo, it is fun. And she said, no, you've
Killing
ruined it.
is so much fun.
You've ruined it.
Yes, I was so ticked off about it, and several people said, "Oh my gosh, you've got to do this," and I was like, "Well, I'm not going to. I don't want to because they spoiled it for me." But then old Shruti comes along,
Just loving us. And what do you do?
what do you do? She was so lovely.
What do you do?
She was so lovely.
And then we said, and I told Amaryllis, I said, well, now we got to do it or we're a-holes.
Yes,
She said, yeah. I said, I mean, how are we going to turn Shruti down? We can't.
we can't turn Shruti down.
No.
But in all fairness, wow,
Wow. It's a lot.
it's so much
Now, I had already heard the story because, I'm an avid
true crime.
true
Yep.
crime follower. And so I had heard the story before, but not in depth like this. And so when I first started watching it, I was like, I'm kind of already going to know what's going on. But
No.
no.
Well, I was the same way because you guys had spoiled it for me, but you could not possibly have spoiled everything that happened. Everything that happened. So you want to jump in?
Let's dive
You
in.
ready?
Yeah.
All right. So it was the year 2000. Does your husband immediately say, "In the year 2000, in the year 2000," when he hears the phrase "in the year 2000"? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Conan O'Brien used to have a segment on his late night show called "In the Year 2000."
Oh, well, this is where I can help you. Phil Gillespie is in bed by 9:30.
Okay.
This, he would never have seen it.
I can never say the phrase "in the year 2000" without Rhett Barnett saying "in the year 2000, in the year 2000." I mean, every time. And it's like this falsetto voice that does it.
Yeah.
And I can never say it. But anyway, the year was 2000. And this guy met this cute girl at work and they fell in love and they got married and they had a few kids. And then after a few years, they just kind of grew apart, the whole thing, and they got divorced.
Kids ruin everything.
Kids ruin everything top to bottom.
And this guy's name is Dave.
His name is Dave. Let me tell you one thing that I noticed about Dave. Dave proves the rule that a beard improves a man's appearance.
Oh, 1,000%.
Has he improved with age to begin with,
Yes.
or what?
Yes. He is like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine.
He just
right.
Dave, you just got better.
He did. He was not a fine wine in the beginning.
You should have gave him a couple
I
more
don't know
years.
how fine he was at the end, but I'm just saying, boy, that beard and age really improved this
It helped
guy.
him out.
Yeah.
Amy should have hung on a little bit longer.
He should have. Yeah.
Just to see.
So his ex-wife moves over to Omaha because that's where she's from. And so he says, well, I'm just going to pack up too. It's not like a rancorous divorce or anything. He was like, I'm just going to pack up too. I'm going to move to Omaha. I'm not from there. I think they were from Iowa, maybe. I don't remember where. Up
You want
there.
to be close to the kids.
Yeah, he was like, I'll move to Omaha because I want to be close to the kids, but this was his ex-wife's hometown, and so he was totally new there. He didn't know anybody,
And it wasn't like he was going to be living with her. Like, he got his own apartment.
He's got his own new life.
Yeah.
He's starting
He just
a brand
wanted to
new
be
life.
close.
Yeah, and which is awesome, by the way. It's
Amazing.
very
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome.
So he got a job in the automotive industry, which is kind of what he had been in before, and he was just loving single life. He was 35 years old and just starting brand new, and
he was like, I'm not looking for another wife. Like, I'm in a position where I'm going to play the field a little bit. Maybe do a little.
he's like, I got a beard.
Maybe do a little hooking up.
I look better.
Yeah.
I'm going to take advantage of this.
Right.
Don't nobody know I have kids.
Yeah. It's Y2K. People don't know if the world's going to end. Who
That's
knows?
right. That's
Yeah.
right. So he gets an account on Plenty of Fish, which I'm wondering if he ran into Gypsy Rose on there.
Hey, maybe.
Might have.
Maybe so. Maybe
I mean,
so.
if he had expanded his search, he might have seen
If
her.
he had to put wheelchair in there, maybe he could have gotten her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Potentially. And he gets an account on Plenty of Fish, and the dude gets 0 matches.
How bad did that hit his self-esteem?
I mean, that's got to be bad, right? I mean, I didn't date in the age of.
I'm going to say, though, this is what I'm going to tell you, Dave. In 2000, online dating was pretty new, okay?
Yeah.
Today, I think you would get a few hits.
Probably, because everybody's on there.
Everybody's
That's
on
the only
there.
way to do it.
But back then, we were told
Stalkers
and killers are on.
or people that can't get dates.
Or people that can't get dates are on, and I mean, this episode is not really helping not prove that case. But, so yeah, especially women were not down for it because they were like, this is creepy. And a lot of them were just using it to look for what Dave was looking for, which was a booty call.
That's exactly right. And that's what he
said that
he
from the
was very
beginning.
clear about that.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he checks over and over, and finally he gets a match. And he matches some lady named Liz Golyar. She's got a cleaning company. She loved animals. But now I have this big giant red flag on Liz because she had a big snake for a pet.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Mhm.
What? She's a single woman. She got a big snake for a pet. I think that's
It's a little
sus, as the kids
I mean,
say.
if we've got some snake owners out there, it's fine. Avery Gillespie would own a snake in a hot second.
Really?
She loves, and I'm petrified. I'm like, that's the demon with
Yeah,
no
no
legs.
thanks.
No thanks. But they had one in like her science class in high school, and she would like ask to hold it every time she was in there.
Oh,
and she
interesting.
loved it. And
Okay.
some people are like, oh, they're so cute. And I'm like, that is the spawn of Satan.
Well, okay.
But whatever.
So apparently he did not see it as a red flag that she had a big giant snake, but I tell you what he did like was her motorcycle. He thought, this is a motorcycle babe, and I'm down for it.
I mean, how many ladies are out there riding hogs? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
He was down for it. He was
Yeah.
down for it. So they started a relationship, and he said it was the perfect mix because he still had his personal space, but there was someone around when you wanted it.
I mean, if I've ever heard,
This is a winner.
I mean, that one could really just sweep you off your feet.
This is a winner.
Sweep you
Right
off your
here.
feet.
I don't know why you wouldn't
said-
just fall in love with him immediately.
He said, I'd love to have a woman who just left before morning. That's what I'd really love.
That's
Yeah.
Ideally. Ideally.
And maybe just on Tuesdays. I don't want to see you the rest of the week.
So he was at work one day. So they had this kind of booty call type relationship, if you will. And one day he's at work, he meets this lady named Carrie Farver. Okay. And he said the first thing I noticed about her was how beautiful she was.
Yeah.
And that was it. She was just a customer, and he saw her, and she left, and that was that. But he kept going back to this Plenty of Fish site. Well, lo and behold, he recognizes Carrie.
Hey,
he
Carrie.
runs into Carrie.
He's like, that's that girl I thought was hot at
That's
work.
right. And so they meet. They go on a date. She's got a kid, a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
She's a big girl. Like she's got a career. Like she's a grown woman.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's not just like I've got hobbies and I'm making money here or there. She had like a full on career.
She's an independent woman.
That's right.
Yes.
And so they went on that date and he took her home, but before they had their coats off.
Well, he invited her in for a nightcap.
Yes, he invited her.
And to his surprise, she was down. And so they went in together, and I was like, oh, Carrie, what?
And they were getting ready for a little something. And
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden you hear, ding,
Ding
dong.
Well, who could that be?
Ding dong. All right. And so he goes over and he looks and it's Liz.
Hey, Liz.
What's up?
Hey.
So Liz is at the door and he's got Carrie, on her way to, getting herself a little something.
Yeah, and
he
Liz-
had to say, hey, listen, I know you're here, but the lady that I was with yesterday is at the door.
And Liz shuffled her way through and said, I'm sorry, I left some items here.
That's
I've got to
right.
go pick up. And if I could guess, she was cutting them eyes at Carrie.
I bet she was.
all the way through.
But Carrie, being a mature woman who
Is older than 15.
is right, her mentally older than 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just said everything that he wanted to hear. This is just for fun. Hey, don't worry about it. This is what I want too. It was exactly kind of what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And she only worked 3 blocks from his apartment, so they spent a lot of time together.
Right.
And
And I mean, you got to think, she's a single mom.
Yeah.
So a lot of women who are, I don't understand, I've never been a single mother, but I've had friends who are single mothers, and a lot of them are very much like, I need to get to know a person before I ever introduce them to my child.
Yeah.
Like, if this is something that's going to, evolve into something more serious, I'll figure that out with them before, I make it part of my child's life. So him living close to her work was perfect because he wasn't having to come to her house.
But
could
also,
just
she
go-
didn't want that. She
Right.
just wanted a little something every now and then.
Well, yeah, she wanted
She
to
had
get-
needs. She had
just-
needs.
She just wanted to meet him.
That's right.
Yeah.
So one day she was over at his house, spent the night again, and he always left really early, and he kissed her goodbye. It was like 6:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And mid-morning, he got this weird text from her that says, hey, you've ruined my life, and I never want to see you again. And so he's like, what the
Cuckoo.
heck? What the heck?
What
I mean,
is
he's like, I really know how to pick him.
Yeah.
And so he went home, and all her stuff was gone. And, he just kept kind of going on like nothing had happened because he didn't have a commitment to this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had specifically just been messing around, which is a lesson, women of the world, by the way. So here's someone, Carrie, who sending weird things.
Well, now, Carrie also, before she got irate with him, said, I think we should move in together.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So they had been doing this, like you said, this very on the same page, just kind of friends with benefits kind of relationship. And then all of a sudden he said, they had spent time together. It had been great. The next morning he gets a text from her that says, hey, I think we should move in together. Like, we're in love. And he said, it's been 2 weeks. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And that's what got her irate.
I don't remember that part.
Yes. Mhm.
I thought it was completely random that she just started messaging him.
No. And he goes home at lunch. He's like, stay there. I'm coming over. And he goes home at lunch because she was at his house. And when he got there, she was gone.
Yeah, no
And
sign of her.
He didn't know where she was at.
But he's like, my point is, he's like, well, she didn't really mean anything to me anyway, so I don't care. This is not a big deal to me.
Yeah, he was sad, but he was like, I'll just move on.
Yeah, I'll move on.
Yeah.
This is odd and it's out of character of the woman that I know, but I'm not even going to look into this anymore because
Like, she cuckoo.
she's crazy and
Yeah.
I don't have any commitment to her at all.
Right.
And that was that. And that was that.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts getting all these terrible messages. Like he just
Like
continued.
harassing
Yeah.
and
Like,
rude.
you're terrible. You're the worst man ever. You're going to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I hate your beard.
Yeah.
She wasn't that mean.
And so all these crazy text messages, and Carrie's mom gets involved, and she's like, I can't find her anywhere. I don't know where she is.
Well, she knew she had met a new guy. Because, I mean, of course, like, she and Carrie were close, so she had told her, hey, I started seeing this new guy or whatever. And she said that she didn't find it weird that they hadn't spoken in a little bit because, you know, sometimes that happens
Ebb and flow, yeah.
when you're starting a new relationship or even just adult.
The parental relationship.
Yeah.
She was like, it was up and down.
Yeah, it was kind of up and down, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. But then she starts kind of getting worried because she starts trying to contact Carrie and can't get in contact with Carrie.
Well, it got bad enough that the sheriff came over to Dave's work, looking for him. You know, hey, look, you are the last person to have seen her. You need to tell me what's going on here. Well, he showed him the texts, and they were like, okay. I mean, that makes sense to me.
That's a crazy chick.
That makes sense.
This will blow over.
Yep.
It's fine.
Well, after that happened, Carrie started texting her mom and saying, look, I just don't want to be found. I'm just in a bad spot. I don't want anybody to say anything to me. Stop bothering me. I'm totally safe. I'm good to go.
And she said, and then eventually, like, the messages had started getting kind of mean. And it wasn't just, oh, well, don't try to find me. Like, she had started sending ugly things to her mother, which she said was very out of character.
Well, what was really out of character was she had a son.
Yeah.
And she was
and
like,
said, hey, can you just take care of him?
can you handle him while I'm gone?
Yeah.
Just take care of him.
Hey, let me give you a heads up. If at any point you start getting text messages from me and they don't have at least 7 emojis, at least 13 exclamation points,
You know, look,
you're going to know it's not me. It's not me.
we should have a plan, Misty.
For sure.
We should have a plan between you and me. We need to pick out a secret emoji.
Well, let's don't say it on here.
We're not going to say which one it is.
Yeah.
But let's have a secret emoji. So if it's an emergency and we include it in the text where it says, hey, I'm totally fine.
And then an eggplant.
And
You'll
then,
know it's me.
No, not the eggplant. Let's
No?
not use that one.
Okay.
No, let's not use that one.
Oh, it's too common.
It's
I just love eggplant. I love
it means something else. And
Well, I just love
I don't want you to
vegetables.
get confused.
I always get the vegetable plate. Well, I'm just saying. At the Paw Paw Patch, I do.
At the Paw Paw Patch. I've not
love
been there in 100
I
years.
love the Paw Paw Patch vegetable plate.
Can we please go to the Paw Paw Patch soon?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was free advertising, Paw Paw Patch.
You're welcome, Paw Paw Patch. Hey, they're not open on Saturdays because I think they're 7-day Adventists.
Is that true?
That's the truth, yeah.
When I was in college, we used to go there all the time. I don't remember that we went on Saturdays, but
Well, you're not going to.
Yeah,
Because they're at church, I believe.
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Anyway, so let's just have like a secret emoji. Like, I don't know. I can't even think of one right now, but something that it's like, hey, if you see this emoji,
Not the eggplant.
I am not okay. Regardless of what this says.
Not the peach.
Not the peach, not the eggplant.
Okay.
Let's just come up with something
All right,
else.
praying
We'll do
hands.
that offline.
Okay.
Okay. So these messages to the mom, just they kept getting fewer and further between. And she was like, I'm fine. And then she would wait, and then I'm fine. And then they just stopped coming. And one day, Liz shows back up to come talk to Dave.
Right.
And he says, you're not going to believe this. Look at my car.
Somebody keyed it.
It's been keyed. You ever had your car keyed?
Yeah, I had a girl write the B word in my car one time.
What did you do?
In high school, I started dating Philip Gillespie.
Oh.
And one of his many scandalous relationships
Really?
before me got mad and keyed the B word in my car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. On the Beretta.
On the Beretta.
Yeah.
Wow. Did your dad have to repaint it? What'd you do?
He just buffed it out.
Oh, you can buff it out?
Yeah. It was a two-tone car anyway. It didn't matter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had when I was a teenager, I had a sports car. My dad had bought me a beautiful sports car, and I went into Pizza Hut to eat with some friends. And when I came back out, I saw some other friends, and one in particular who was not very nice to me
Not your
a lot of the
friend.
times. And he goes, hey, look at your car. And I assume he did it and then pointed out to me, but I can't prove it. But it was keyed from front to back, like so deep.
A
Had to-
boy?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I ran into a lot.
What a
grew
jerk.
up I grew up in small town Alabama, which can be great. I mean, there were some great people there and people that we love so much still. But there was also a lot of not nice things that happened to us there because it was the early 80s, mid 80s. At that time, it was the late 80s. And we were Hispanic. And small town Alabama and foreigners don't always mix. And also my dad was a little ostentatious and liked to, like, he was just, I mean, I was 16 years old and I had a brand new bright red sports car off the lot.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people didn't really love that.
Well, let me tell
and
you
they
what-
got into our business and we would get occasionally, this is such a downer, but we would sometimes get death threats or threats against me and my sisters in the
What?
mail. Yeah. Yeah. People didn't know, like, we didn't tell that to people, but yeah, it used
Oh
to
my
happen pretty
gosh.
regularly.
Well, I mean, I was feeling bad for myself.
Yeah, no.
Because I was blonde, but my mama said it was because everybody's jealous of me.
Well, they probably were. They probably were.
That's what she'd say. She'd say
Yeah.
they're just jealous.
We just kind of kept our head down and just kind of tried to be ourselves and tried to, love the people that loved us.
Well, that
and
makes
just
me
kinda kept
very
going.
sad.
Yeah, it was. We had a great experience with a lot of the people. A lot of, like, my dad's patients were always really awesome, but there were a lot of people that were not nice to us there in small town. But that's such a sidetrack. Sorry. Anyway,
So look at my car. Like, it has gotten keyed. And not only that, but I've been getting some real harassing messages from Carrie.
you're not even going to believe this.
You're not even going to believe it. And so she shows him. She's like, look. And lo and behold, if it's not from Carrie's number.
Yep.
And what is so crazy, and again, which would have caused pause in me, and I don't think it's just me, but when I'm angry and I send an angry text, it is not a couple of words.
It is a long
It is
one.
a paragraph, okay? And all these little messages that Carrie was sending out were like one sentence little quips.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm writing a novel if I'm pissed off at you.
Yeah.
Like
no,
that-
this was a
this
quick
was like,
drive-by.
yeah, it was like a drive-by text. And I
Yeah.
was like, come on now.
Well, old Dave gathers all these messages and he's like, well, I got to go to the police with these. I mean, we cannot live like this. We cannot live like this. She was using different phone numbers, different emails. Like, she knew the customers that he was talking to.
She would say,
be
"How's
like,
your-"
I can see you having coffee right now.
Yeah, do you see me?
Yeah. And like the police, they tried to do a reverse stakeout to figure out where she was living in the
and then
neighborhood.
she started using different numbers.
Yeah.
He gathered, like, because he would block a number and she would just get a new one. And
Yeah.
so she had something like 30 different phone numbers
Yeah.
that she was texting him from.
Okay, my favorite was when she finally was like, I'm tired of this. Let me tell you where I am. You can come find me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am at 11 whatever street.
Oh, no, I'm at apartment building 12. And it was his apartment complex.
It was right around where he lived, exactly.
It was
and so
in
he
his
starts walking.
apartment complex, yeah.
He starts walking, and he's like building 9, building 10,
building 11.
There's not a building
There's
12.
no 12. And she said,
Sent her on a wild goose chase.
and she said, ha
or
ha.
she sent him on a wild goose chase. Yeah,
She said, you look so dumb right
Can
now
you-
looking for apartment number 12.
you idiot. Can you imagine the freaking paranoia?
Oh my gosh.
That is a lot. Like, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Because she did, like, she would message him and she would be like, is that coffee delicious that you're drinking right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to call that customer you're talking. I'm going to tell him about whatever.
I like your blue shirt.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. Then Carrie sends him pictures inside Liz's house. So now she has penetrated Liz's house.
And spray paints whore on the wall.
Keyed the car again, spray painted the wall in the garage. They filed a police report. The police come take pictures. Liz's clothes have been slashed all over her
Yes.
house.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody can find Carrie. It's been a year
And
of this.
And you know what? Nothing will drive two people together the way a stalker will. And so Dave starts,
Yeah, that's true.
Dave starts feeling responsible that Liz is now going through all this like crap.
It's a trauma bond.
It's a trauma bond. And so eventually them both going through this and having Carrie, messaging them and harassing them kind of rekindles their flame and they start having a relationship again.
Then Carrie freaking sets Liz's house on fire.
Wow.
So the only thing I'm thinking about this whole time is this is whatever small town Nebraska, I think they're in. And I'm thinking, why is nobody looking up the IP address?
Well, it's the year 2000. And
even more so.
And I don't know that they've probably had to deal with something like this maybe.
Oh, but that's like IP address is like entry level basic internet. I mean, that is how you identify where anybody's connection is coming from.
Not everybody went to a fancy Baptist college like you. Okay. Some of us were at Virginia College, satellite location, and we didn't know that kind of stuff, Amaryllis.
Well, but surely it just seems so strange to me that it's been a year of them receiving messages and nobody said, hey, let's look up this IP address. Let's see where these messages are coming from.
Well, look, so they didn't. And Liz gets her house set on fire. Yep. And then at the same time she gets it set on fire, she gets a text from Carrie that says, hey, I hope you die. I'm sorry. It's not funny.
That's hilarious.
It says, hey, I hope you die.
You know what? Liz is like, I am out.
Yeah. And Dave is like,
I get it.
Dave is like, I get it. He feels so sad. He's like, I got to move too. He moves. He gets a new job. And he and Liz lose all contact for about a year.
Yes. So now it's been like, it's been over a year and he's living in Iowa. Potawatomi.
Please stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. You sound like Philip trying to say Thessalonians.
He lived at some Indian name county in Iowa. Potawatomi, something. Sorry, Iowans. I know we have many listeners. Isn't that where that Christmas lights guy was?
Petataquak. What?
We're in somewhere in Iowa, okay? This is my favorite. Now, I know earlier I said that was my favorite part.
You'd be telling lies.
But this is my absolute favorite.
Okay.
Is when we meet, no, there's another part, but this is one of my favorites.
Okay.
We meet Jim, who is he looks like a cowboy sheriff Chippendale stripper hybrid.
Yes. And he has got a porn stash.
Like you can't believe.
It looks like he drew it on with his mama's eyeliner.
You can't even believe it.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's cartoonish. Mm-hmm. It's cartoonish.
It is.
And I can't. Every time I see him, I'm like, when is your next show in Vegas?
Please.
Are you dancing for the Thunder Down Under?
Do you have some calendars in the back of your car?
Say, will you sign them? And he's got this friend who kind of looks like John Bunyan. Like he's like this giant man.
His name's Ryan.
Right, yes. And they're both like, hey, we want to take over this Carrie Farver case.
Yeah.
And they went to go see Carrie's mother, who was not super happy to see them because she was like, great, more investigators.
She was like, y'all have been zero help to me.
Carrie says that in these last 2 years that all this has been going on, not Carrie, Carrie's mom says that Carrie had emailed and said, hey, I've taken a 6-figure job and I'm not coming home. Will you just take care of my kid for the rest of his life?
Hey, Carrie, that's super lucky for you considering you didn't take anything with you.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Yeah. And they thought that was like weird, but they thought she'd had some mental health problems and they thought, well, it's not crazy to make the leap that she would do this.
Yeah.
Only because she had struggled a little bit, but it was really, really odd. Like it wasn't out of the question, but it really seemed really odd that she had done it.
Right.
Well, now Dave is over in Wadabie, Iowa.
Wadabie.
That was not me speaking in tongues. And he's like, I'm going to start dating again.
He said, burn me once. Fine. Burn my girlfriend's house down? Okay. I'm going to still give love a chance.
I need a date.
Yeah.
I need a date with no commitment still. Right. So.
I didn't grow this beard for nothing.
No, he didn't. So he finds, he gets back on plentyoffish.com because it worked so well for him last time.
Right.
And he found this lady named Punk Rocker
Try it again. What is it with your P words tonight?
He finds this lady named Punk Rocker Chip. I can't say it. Punk Rocker Chick. Okay,
Yep.
is that right?
You got it.
Like I have it on my notes right here. It says Punk Rocker Chip. Like, is it the wrong? Did I write it wrong, or is it Punk Rocker Chip?
Chick.
Chick.
Yeah, she's not a
How
chick.
did I do a P instead of a CK?
You're having something with the P's lately.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he sets up a date with this punk rocker chick, and he gets a message that she's running late. So he goes, he's waiting at the restaurant, and he's like, oh, I mean, I'm waiting, and finally get a message that she's running late. Well, he waited for hours and hours, and he's about to leave, and then he gets a message, and he goes, sucker, I'm actually Carrie.
She said, psych, you idiot.
So now it's like been 2 years. He thought he had all this stalker stuff behind him, and freaking Carrie has started threatening him and his ex-wife.
Oh.
So now they've brought in his ex-wife.
Poor Amy. She hadn't done nothing to nobody.
A dang thing. And she's got their kids.
Her babies. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and Carrie starts threatening the children.
Yeah. Carrie's like, I hope you and your kids die.
I hope that they die at my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not nice.
Watch
She
your
was not
back,
good.
Amy.
Yeah, that's really scary. That's so freaking scary.
Yeah.
Like she stalked them at the park. Like she messaged them and was like, "Hey, did you have fun at the park today?"
Like his ex-wife is like got a gun standing by the door at night.
Yes,
Like, she's terrified.
Her little boy was holding a bat, sleeping in the living room because he said, "I'm going to take care of you, mommy."
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And like I'm thinking, I'm watching all this go down, and I'm thinking these investigators, law enforcement, doing the bare minimum.
Oh, nothing.
I can't, like, I don't
Do you
know
think,
what they're
do
doing.
you think that they're in the back of their mind? They're just thinking, this
Lover
is just
squirrel.
a crazy ex. Like,
Yeah.
we got bigger fish to fry.
I think there's no question about it.
And
They pick and choose what is important.
yeah, and so like it gets so bad that Dave moves back in with his ex-wife.
Well, yes, that happens a little bit later. So he bought that gun. Like Dave bought that gun and he put it on his top shelf. Like
Can I be honest with you?
You did not watch this.
Well, no, I stopped taking notes at this point. My hand was getting tired. And so I know this stuff. Just help me.
Okay, I will. So Dave he went and he bought a pistol. He'd never had one before. He hid it away from his children. It was like top shelf of his closet.
Yeah, I remember
He didn't
this.
want his kids to get into it. And meanwhile, Chippendales and John Bunyan, they can't find Carrie. They can't find
They've
her.
been trying.
They have been trying.
Yeah.
And they were
And John Bunyan even said, I'm on the spectrum a little bit. How didn't he?
wrong guy.
Oh.
Wrong guy. We are not to Spectrum yet.
This is why I have to take notes all the way through.
Today it's on the dock with Amaryllis. So, Misty, you just sit there.
I'm going to do a Patreon episode that I will not edit or upload.
Yeah, don't talk. Okay, just
Okay. I'm just going to tell me the rest of the story, Amarillo.
I will, Misty.
From minute
'Cause I
30
have exhaustive notes.
From minute 30 to 65. Go ahead.
Do you take notes just on your phone?
I do.
Oh, see, I've got my computer on top of me while I'm watching, and so I'm typing so I can basically dictate anything they say.
I'm typing too. I was a medical transcriptionist. I can do it on my phone.
I mean, I believe you. I've done that before, but it's just so much quicker to be able to do it with all the fingers.
Sometimes when I get tired, I just put it on the microphone and stick it close to the TV and let it. And then I go back in and I just delete the part I don't need.
That explains a lot.
Well.
It explains a lot.
Work smarter,
All right.
not harder.
Meanwhile, Chippendales and John Bunyan, they're like the only ones after 2 years now. Okay, after 2 years, they're the only ones that noticed. Hey, nobody touched anything at Carrie's house. So when she left without her medicine. She left without her clothes. She left without her hygiene items.
Right.
She done gone. And has nobody ever thought that that's just weird?
Yeah.
And
what
and
kind
nobody
of lady
had. Nobody
is gonna
thought
leave
that.
without her makeup
Right.
or her hairbrush.
She just left.
Yeah.
Just like she walked outside.
Like
and
you've left your kid and not taken any of his pictures with you.
Her bank account, 0 transactions.
Don't need it. She's
Nope.
got that new job.
Yep.
She got a new bank account.
Her dad was in the middle of a terminal illness. Just left.
She said you'll be fine.
Just left. And so it's been 2 years, and they've just now decided to call a man named Tony Kava.
Tony's on the spectrum.
Tony's on the spectrum, which he will tell you about, and just like he'll in the middle. It's just part of him. It doesn't define him. It's just part of him.
He said, "Look, I'm on the spectrum, so
Yeah.
this stuff is easy for me."
Well, yes, he goes. Well, that's not why he said he was on the spectrum. He was telling us about his lunch and how he eats the same thing every day.
And y'all want to know something? So, if you're a longtime listener, you know that I can say this because I have children on the spectrum. But I've also diagnosed my husband on the spectrum. And would y'all like to know that on every Sunday, he does what he calls meal prep?
Yeah.
Now, meal prep is something a lot of people do.
Sure.
But my husband's meal prep is the same lunch every week, 5 days a week. He eats the same thing every day for lunch.
I don't know that is necessarily spectrum. I mean, it could be, definitely. It could also be OCD. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It could just, I don't know that there's any other thing it could be. OCD or spectrum.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, maybe a combo.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Yeah.
combo. Anyway, Tony Cava was a volunteer sheriff, and he was their IT guy. He got paid $0 for doing any of this. Like, he was totally volunteer. He goes, might be a good idea. Let's check that IP address.
There's something called an IP address. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it.
Yes. They discovered that whoever was sending those messages was actually doing a really good job of it, because they had hidden the IP address. Like, they could not find the IP address.
Right.
So Tony, who's on the spectrum, we talked about, he wrote a program to try to figure it out.
Yeah, like one does.
As one does.
Yeah.
He called it DEX. And pretty much what happened, pretty much what it is he wrote an AI program.
Can you say that word again?
DEX. DEX.
Spell it.
DEX.
Okay, good.
So he wrote an AI program, in effect, that was 12 years before OpenAI was available to everybody here. He wrote a program that he could ask, like he input all those IP addresses into it, thousands and thousands and thousands. And he input them into DEX, and he asked DEX to figure out which ones were recurring.
To sort them.
Yeah. Right, because he couldn't do it manually. And it worked. And they discovered that it was connected to a man named Todd Butterball. Which is honestly the world's greatest name.
Butterball.
Butterball. Not ball. Butterball.
Bah.
Yeah. We have some friends named the Boss. That's not crazy. But I will say it would be very alliterative because they've got her husband's name starts with a B. So it would be Ben Butterball. Which, Ben, if you don't think I'm going to start calling you Ben Butterball, you're crazy. Because I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, it turns out that Tony was Todd Butterball's boss. At the county. And Tony was like, hey, Todd, we got to have a conversation.
Could you step in my office?
Could you step into my office and talk about these IP addresses? Well, they executed a search warrant at Todd's house, and he said that he was like, I don't know what's going on, but I've got a girlfriend living at this house. I mean, she's been here since her house burned down.
Yeah, I mean, she's had a rough time.
What's her name?
She got her
What's
car
her name?
key, too.
Todd Butterball. What's her name? Liz Golyar. Okay. So he said, she's been using my Wi-Fi for years.
Hey, Liz, you might want to check whose Wi-Fi you're using.
Okay. So Dave, who can't figure out women at all. Okay. He cannot figure them out. He's absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
He just starts crying. I mean, he's like, this has been over the course of 2 years, and Liz is the one who's doing this.
Like, what in the world?
And then it kind of all starts making sense to him. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I guess this means Carrie's not living.
Yeah.
Like, it hits him. Carrie is probably dead. And
I'm
thinking,
if y'all are struggling with this right now, because it is a lot of information, what we're telling you is they've just figured out that who has been impersonating Carrie is Liz. So every time Liz got a message or a harassing phone call, she was sending them to herself.
Anytime your house got burned down, Liz burned her own house down.
Liz-
Anytime your clothes got slashed, Liz slashed her own. Anytime your car got keyed, Liz slashed
keyed
her
her
own
car.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime she would get a message, Liz was sending it to herself.
And Liz was sending it to Dave, and Liz was sending it to Carrie's mom, and Liz was sending it to
Amy?
everybody.
Yeah, to Dave's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, it kind of all starts making sense to Dave, but I thought to myself, it's got to be like a big shift for him because for 2 years he has hated Carrie for everything she has put him and Liz through.
P.S. Liz, ain't nobody's D that fire. In the words of Gypsy Rose.
I cannot take you anywhere.
That beard ain't worth it. Don't do it.
Anyway. Anyway, it's got to be a shift. Like he's been hating Carrie for 2 years, and he has felt bad and sad for Liz, and all of a sudden he's got to like think the reverse. Like that's going to
Right.
be like a really
It's a mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the investigators figured out that Liz knew where Carrie's car was the entire time because the car had been missing. Like nobody knew where Carrie's car had gone at all. And so they figured out that she knew where the car was. And in this car, they discovered a single fingerprint on a mint container in the center console. And this was Carrie's car. Like they found Carrie's car and they found that mint and they found Liz's fingerprint on it. So that was like... that was how they matched them, right? They were like, okay, so Liz and Carrie were together at some point. But still, nobody has any idea what's happened to Carrie.
Right.
And Liz is still out. Like Liz doesn't know this has all happened.
No.
She's completely oblivious.
Liz thinks that she's still running this game.
Oh yeah, she thinks
Yeah.
So meanwhile, authorities are
But
gathering.
I do have to say the authorities were smart to gather everything before they called her in to question her.
That's right. One of the things they did was they put a GPS on her car.
Yes.
And they figured out that she, every single day, was circling Amy's house.
Which is Dave's ex-wife.
Dave's ex-wife and where his kids live.
And where he was living.
That's right.
too.
That's right. So one Sunday night, Dave comes home and he's been visiting his kids and he notices someone's been in his house. Okay. Someone's been in his house and he goes over to his closet and he realizes somebody's taken my gun. And he freaks out.
Yeah.
And so then we cut to a 911 call where Liz is called 911. This is not funny.
It's not funny,
Liz
but it's
calls
so
911
insane.
and she says, "Hey, 911, I've been shot in the park. I've been shot." And you know, the authorities come and get her. They're just like trying to figure out who's going to want to shoot. Why would anybody want to shoot
Who
Liz?
has shot you in the leg?
Who in the world? So then they head over to Amy's house. She's like, it can't be anybody but Amy.
Yeah.
It's got to be Amy.
Yeah.
So the police, they go over there and they're yelling for her. Like they're swatting
They're
her
like,
house.
get on the ground.
Yeah, they're doxing basically her house. I mean, they're swatting her house.
Yeah.
And after Liz had recovered, she was sitting in an interview at the sheriff's office. And now the police already were suspecting that Liz had done this to herself.
Yeah.
But they brought her in, and
Well-
they suspected that she did it, and that she did it with Dave's gun. And,
Yeah,
but
because they figured out it was Dave's gun.
That's right. But they wanted to go along with her story because they were trying to get more stuff, which is so hilarious.
Smart, yeah.
So they did some reverse psychology on her. And so John Bunyan is like, I don't even know what his real name is. I just called him
I
John
don't
Bunyan the
either.
whole time. She said, John Bunyan's like, she was playing checkers and we were playing chess.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that saying so much. So the police starts, so she goes to the police and the police say, you know, what would really help us is if we had some messages. Like we can't really go after Amy because we don't
Yeah.
have any evidence. I
mean,
mean,
has
if you
A-
can try to dig up something, like if you can just prove to us.
Yeah. Has
that
Amy
this
ever
is-
sent you an email? Or
Yeah, I mean,
anything?
we just need some evidence. So she's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'll look.
That'd be the last nail in
I'm
the
gonna
coffin.
look. Yeah, I'll just check it out. And so sure enough, she starts forwarding made up messages that Amy that played right into that from Amy that played right
Within
into that
hours.
bait. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then Chippendales goes calls Dave and they recorded the conversation. He's like, "Hey, Dave, look, I don't want to tell you what to do. not Chippendales, it was John Bunyan that called him. I don't want to tell you what to do, but if I'm you, I'm going to go move in with my family.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care what you have to do, but in order to keep those kids safe, you really, this is getting crazy, and
Yeah.
you really have got to go take care of your family.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what he does. And so then Liz is getting ticked off. She's like, I told you about Amy, and she has still not been arrested.
What is happening? I've been shot in the leg.
I can't believe it.
My house has been set on fire.
And I told you who did it.
And I told y'all who did it. And I sent you the messages that you asked me for.
He goes, look, we're just going to need more information. We just don't have enough.
I just don't have enough.
Well, magically.
She said, well, let me do a little bit of work.
Right. She's like, let me get on that. So magically more information starts happening. And then Liz starts forwarding more messages from Amy with details about Carrie's murder.
Yes.
So she's trying to frame Amy for Carrie's murder by using real details.
Yeah, like, I'll get rid of you just like I got rid of Carrie.
Well, she's framing her. I mean, she's just like, I'm going to confess to this.
As Amy.
Well, right. Like, exactly. Like, let me tell you what she told me. She blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So Liz/Amy gave like horrible details, like about what they did to this young woman, the things that they did to her. And the short of it is that it was a stabbing in her car. But the police looked at the car and they came up with zero blood evidence. Like, they do that spray that like makes blood glow in the dark.
Right.
And
Luminol.
Yeah. And it didn't work. Like there was no, and then somebody kind of said, let's cut into these seats.
Yeah.
I don't know how she was able to get that car so clean. Because if she stabbed this woman and she did the things that, I don't want to say what she did, but she did some really terrible things to this woman. You would think that it like, I don't know how you clean that.
No, well, you can, but what she did was and the police should have known to pull the seats out. Again, it was one of those like where the IP address really got you, the seats really got me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's police investigation 101. You rip that car apart. You look in between, you luminol the wood underneath the seat. Like you do everything. Yeah. Because if you saturate a car cushion that's covered in blood, you can kill the blood with bleach or whatever, some kind of chemical, and then you saturate it. Well, all it's going to do is push all that blood down to the bottom. And so when you spray the top with luminol, of course it's not going to show. But once you get into like the sponge and the fiber, it's all down at the bottom. It all soaks in.
You seem to know a lot about this.
I do. I could very well get away with it.
I mean, this is like... It's making me nervous, honestly.
It should. Y'all,
a little bit.
Y'all really shouldn't mess with me.
They pulled the seat covers, and that's exactly what they found. They found blood in the seat, like inside the foam. Yeah, inside the foam. And that was when that's when they felt like they could arrest her. They were like, okay, this is it. And it's been freaking 4 years of this.
And she really condemned herself because, they came to her and they were like, look, is there any way that you've ever been in Carrie's vehicle? And she was like, absolutely not. And they were like, you never got in it just to like sit and talk with her. You never
took pictures.
You never did anything like that. And she was like, no. And they were like, well, your fingerprints on that mint container and her blood's in the back seat.
God,
so
that's crazy.
That's a problem. But, let's see if we can find anything else.
So, right, exactly. And she was funny, like when they showed her, when they were questioning, she was like, that's not true. That's not, that's, they're showing her like in black and white, the evidence. And she's like, well, that's not real.
Well, so they take this evidence and, they're trying to get, a grand jury or whatever to find out if they're going to be able to nail her down for this crime. And basically, they run into the no body, no crime kind of thing.
Right.
Like, look, yeah, we have her blood. Yeah, we have a fingerprint, but we don't have a body. Like, we don't have a corpse. So it's very hard to convict someone of murder when you don't have a body. You can't do an autopsy, that kind of thing. And so they went to our friend on the spectrum,
Tony,
and said, hey, have you got any kind of device that maybe you could dig into and look at? Like, is there any electronic device that we've not thoroughly searched? And he said, well, I do have a, she didn't.
Tony asked Dave.
Yeah,
for
Tony
this.
asked Dave, and he said, well, I don't have anything, but I did have an iPad, and there was a...
It's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, it's been dead forever, but it's got one of those chips in it. Like
SD card.
Little mini SD cards. And he said, okay, well, bring me that.
11,000 photos.
P.S. y'all, just because you delete a photo off of an SD card does not mean that they cannot find it.
The internet is forever.
It's forever. Yeah.
They found this SD card that was in a tablet, but it actually came from her original cell phone where she had taken pictures of...
Well, a lot of selfies.
A lot of selfies.
So they knew it was hers, you
Yep.
idiot.
Yep. And they found a picture of a foot. And Tony, who, by the way, by this time had been diagnosed with a brain tumor, but he declined surgery because they had told him he might be impaired, and he did not want to be impaired. He wanted to solve this mystery before he had his brain tumor removed.
He said, hey, I'm going to take a rain check on that brain tumor excision because I got to get this case. Tony,
I gotta get
above and beyond, did y'all give him an award, a plaque or something?
They should have given
I
him
hope he got
Employee
something.
of the Month.
Yeah.
Volunteer Employee of the
People have
Month.
done so much less than won it.
Yeah. So in these 11,000 pictures, he stumbled. Now, and these are not high res pictures, okay?
No.
Because this was, here it is, 2024. This was 20 years ago. So these were not high resolution pictures.
And P.S. Liz, I saw some of those selfies.
Not great.
That was not selfie worthy.
No, not
You
great.
were not looking your best. I don't know what you were doing.
He had to look up this foot. He looked it up on Grey's Anatomy, not on Grey's Anatomy, in a Grey's Anatomy book, and which millennials and Gen Z, which I know a huge portion of our audience is Gen Z.
It's not just a TV show.
It's not just a TV show, Grey's Anatomy.
It's a real
In
book.
fact, the TV show is named after this book, the Grey's Anatomy
Not
book.
after Dr. Grey.
He had to look on there because it had like some odd veining and it looked
Some
kind of funny.
discoloration.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the end, the reason that it was like that is because that's what it would look like if it had been dead and or sawed off. And that was the smoking gun.
And it just so happened that this foot had a tattoo on it.
And it had a tattoo. That's right. It had a tattoo that matched Carrie. Yeah. So they were able to go to court without a body because they had this evidence, and then they found Liz guilty of murder at that time, and she was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And I'm thinking, okay, this Liz woman, she keyed her own car, she cut up her own clothes, she set her house on fire, which, by the way, killed her animals.
Yeah,
Okay.
killed her own pet.
She shot herself. All for this man that she had known for a very short time.
And Liz has children too.
Yep.
Like, girl, aren't you busy?
What is
How do
this
you have all
man?
this time?
What? I don't like. It doesn't compute for me. Like, is it just a case of she's mentally ill?
Gotta be.
Is it a case of Dave is a real good kisser?
Dave, you D not that far.
Apparently, it is.
It's not. It can't be.
I can't imagine.
I
but
can't imagine.
That's what I'm like. I'm just trying to explain it. Like, I don't understand.
Amy let him get kicked to the curb real quick. She didn't care.
She was over him.
She was fine.
She was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to the old. You remember back in the day when Halle Berry was married to Dave Justice? Do you remember that? Do you have any idea who I'm talking about? No. You're like, you know Halle Berry.
I was in 10th grade. I don't
Halle
know.
Berry. You know Halle Berry, actress
Yeah,
Halle Berry.
yeah.
David Justice was an Atlanta Braves baseball player.
Okay.
Okay. Real handsome, very cute. They were married for a while.
Oh.
Okay. That was back when the Braves were like, they always won like World Series and
Yeah.
their pennants and stuff. Well, they were married. They were a huge Hollywood couple.
Yeah.
And they had a terrible, horrible divorce.
Oh.
And then Chris Rock did this whole thing about everybody has a limit. And even Dave Justice who was married to one of the most beautiful women in the world, was like, you got to go.
Yeah.
And so I think that was sort of with how it might have been with Amy and Dave. She was like, I don't care what these other women find in you. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go. But apparently these other women found him to be irresistible.
Can I give just a public service announcement? Hey, listen to the name of that website. There are plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah.
You do not need to be killing folks over nobody. I don't care who it is.
It's a good lesson. Just don't kill people.
I've been with Philip Gillespie 26 years. And tomorrow he could say, I have found something else. And I would say, bye.
You're out.
Like, I'm first off, I'm not wasting my gas money to stalk you.
Yeah.
Number two, if I try to set somebody's house on fire, I will for sure burn up one of my own limbs. I can't be trusted with
It's too risky.
gasoline. No.
It's not worth it, yeah.
Yeah, girl, you reading real desperate.
You think?
Real desperate.
You think?
Yeah, that is not a good look.
Yeah, and then I wonder with this guy that she had been living with, this poor guy who was being used for his IP
address. I mean, I've heard of women using men for lots of things.
Right. No,
but,
she was using it for his Wi-Fi.
But your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Girl, go to Starbucks. I mean,
They got cameras at Starbucks.
you don't have
You
to
can't
be
do
doing all that. Well, she's doing it for the people that he's working for.
I mean,
trying to find her.
What do you think? Like, what did he do? Like, was he said it was his girlfriend, right?
Yeah, Liz.
Like, all of a sudden, he's like, oh, crap, I've dodged a bullet.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe he goes and he looks up Dave's picture and is like, what does he have that I don't have?
I could tell you.
Well, we didn't see a picture of that guy.
Yeah, you did.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. I guess the lesson here is, I mean, don't kill anybody.
Ain't nobody worth it.
Don't kill anybody. Don't stalk anybody.
No.
I mean, certainly you can stalk them, but don't let them know.
Yeah. Look, there's plenty of men out there. If one don't work out, let me tell you, there's another
so
one
many.
right around the corner.
Yep. I don't know why everybody just doesn't ask us what we think.
I don't know. It makes me, I want to go, Liz, like Liz's mama, where you at?
Yes, she was sad. I mean, it was nice for her to get closure.
No.
Oh, Liz's mama. I was thinking
No,
Carrie's mom.
mama didn't do nothing wrong.
No. I was thinking Carrie's mom.
I'm talking about Liz, where's your mama?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's got to be horrible to wake up and find out my child has done this.
Oh my gosh.
Or even her own children that are like, hey, where's your mom? Well, she's in the pokey.
She was so in love with this guy that she went haywire crazy.
And I don't know that she was in love with. I mean, she had a
obsessed with
physical
him.
relationship with him for a short time.
Yeah, she was obsessed with him.
And I wonder, and I'm just thinking about this out loud, and somebody's going to get mad at me, and somebody's going to be like, "You're so like conservative Christian," and I'm totally a Christian, but maybe
you
not a
hate
conservative.
murder.
But anyway, part of me is like, how much of this has to do with the fact that it was just a physical relationship, and like he said that that's what he wanted, but women aren't wired that way.
No.
Right? I mean, women aren't, we have all those hormones that are there when you have all these feelings, and that's just not how men are, right?
Well,
I mean,
and how many women to themselves think, oh, well, right now he just wants a physical relationship, but once he really gets to know
That's
me,
right.
he'll fall in love with me.
And so
that
part of me
didn't happen.
wonders
Yeah.
how, and certainly I'm not suggesting that he brought it on himself at all, because he was honest
he was
with her.
honest about it.
Yeah, he was honest with her, and I don't know what else he could have done to make it more clear. You know? But part of me is like, you can't do that. Like women, that's just not how it works with women.
Or not any that I know.
Yeah, and I know that makes me sound like a total, I don't know. I know it doesn't make me sound very modern, but I also know, just like physiologically, that's how women work, Mm-hmm. So I wonder how much of that, like, yeah, it's mental illness, but how much of it stems from just that part. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I'm going to say she had a whole lot of things going on with her.
Oh, yeah.
That,
I did not anticipate all of this. I didn't know.
That's a lot.
When you guys spoiled it for me and you said, hey, it turns out it was the ex girlfriend that was doing all this.
We didn't tell you about the
Like,
shooting.
you didn't tell me about the shooting.
No.
That's right. And you didn't tell me about John Bunyan or Chippendales.
Well, because I didn't know. Because
Yeah.
none of this is talked about in the other stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me about Tony on the spectrum
I
declining surgery.
I had never met him.
Declining surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that I watched it because I totally wasn't because I was so freaking mad at
It's
y'all.
super, super sad.
Everything we do is super sad, but
I can't even
somehow it
imagine
makes
being
us...
Carrie's family. Like, this poor woman just tried to go on a date. I mean, she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And she's lost in the whole, story of this, of how crazy Liz is. But at the center of it, somebody lost their mother, somebody lost their daughter.
Yeah.
All because a boy liked her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's what he said. He said, if I could go back and if I knew that this was going to happen and I could go back, I would never have gone on that date with Carrie. Like, as awesome as she was and as much as I liked her, I would not have put her in that kind of danger.
I would never have put her in that kind of danger.
Yeah. And so he was like, I would totally. And I wish that, I don't know that they told us what was going on with Dave, like what is going on with him. But maybe he's like, please don't tell anybody what I'm doing.
He's probably on Hinge, just under a different name.
Yeah, but he's on Tinder.
He's on Tinder.
He's the new Tinder swindler.
Oh,
No. He seemed like a good guy. He just got caught in a bad spot. But
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, that was a good one. I don't know what we'll do next. There's a new one called The Program, but it's sort of, I haven't watched it yet, but it seems to me kind of like Hell Camp, except it's not outdoors.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Have you seen it?
I have. It's really sad.
So we should not do it.
I mean,
we've done sad things before. Somebody suggested it. But.
It's not a feel good, but let's not lie to anybody. We don't know what we're going to do.
You know that our friend that I spent the night with at her house when I was in Dallas.
Yeah.
Even though I had never met her.
Let's don't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to freak you out anymore.
Yeah.
But she did message and she said, "Are y'all going to do that one?"
Well.
And I said, Misty said no.
No. Just blame it on me. What did I watch the other day? I watched one the other day that was really good. It's a new one.
Okay, on what channel? What service?
I'm trying to think.
Well, that's helpful.
I'll think of it at like 3 a.m. I'll text you.
Do you remember what it was about?
No.
Okay.
That's what ADHD.
Well, there's a bunch of
does
new
to
ones
you.
that are out, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, but it was one that I was like, I don't care if we're doing this or not. I'm watching it, and I did.
Okay.
I think I watched it before the one I was supposed to.
Like, I see all these new ones that pop up, and there's tons of them that I want to watch, but then I wait and see if we're going to do them or not, because I find myself, if I don't want to watch it twice, so if I watch it, I want to take notes on it.
Right.
And so I don't want to always take notes. I can never watch anything just because it's fun anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
like
always
a
feel
job.
like, it is. I mean, it's a fun job.
It's a fun job.
I'm not complaining. It's just like, I don't just sit and turn on a documentary anymore. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to make notes because I can't forget that I want to talk about this.
Right.
So anyway, it's really interesting. But so I don't watch as many as you do because
You
I
have a
want to
job.
sit there and take notes on everything.
When you have a job.
And I have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a job.
Yeah, that'll
that I
really,
try to do.
That'll really cut into your documentary watch.
It really cuts into my free time.
Yeah, and you're napping, so I had to catch up.
All right. Well, are you ready to wrap it up and then head over to the next episode that we're about to do?
I'm about to blow your mind with the last episode of Mother God.
I can't wait.
Love is one.
Love has won.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.